Welcome back to the ManTFup podcast. I'm Kimmy B.
And Lenny.
That's right. Oh, hey, Len.
How are
I
you?
feel like I haven't seen you in forever. Listen, folks, before we go any further, you know the drill. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, and share the ManTFup platform podcast absolutely everywhere. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're on Buzzsprout, iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, YouTube. We're everywhere. There's zero excuse for you to have not seen or not shared an episode of the ManTFup podcast by this point in life. Speaking of which, I got an interesting text message from a friend of mine who said, yeah, I was watching you school your co-host on Black History, and it just made me laugh. And I was like, yeah, you know, sometimes it be going down in the man cave.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? No?
Okay. Yeah, you.
No toxic
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on. Shut up, Kim. There's people dying. No!
No toxic work environments.
What is happening?
No toxic work environment.
How ironic is that?
That's
coming
pretty
up
ironic.
Right then
That's
in
pretty
that
ironic.
moment. That was
And listen, if you guys
There
have
you
any
go.
comments, don't forget to email us at kimmyb@mantfuptv.com.
Yeah. I'm waiting for one, Len, because we've said some pretty
You
interesting
haven't gotten
stuff.
an email yet?
I haven't. But like I said, I've had a couple comments on the TikTok in particular, you know, with people ready to come for me. Somebody made fun of my lips the other day. I think we should do a whole kind of
She's got really nice lips.
conversation about that. It was when I was talking about changing the sizes of clothes.
Visually.
Thank you for that clarification, Lenny, especially after the last week's podcast. Good God. Why do I subject myself to this? Stop it. You know what? It's good to see you laugh, Len. It's good to see you laugh. I'm going to leave it at that. Anyway, let me not get sidetracked. We can talk about that previous incident on TikTok in another episode of the ManTFup podcast. But right now, I want to get into a conversation about work ethic, something that we seem to touch on at least every other episode in some way, shape, or form, right? But I think that that's because work, life, accomplishment, career have a lot to do with manning the up, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm scrolling the gram, as I love to do, and I came across this video. Apparently, Kim Kardashian is getting dragged right now because she had some choice words for folks who don't like to work, and this is what she had to say. Or not. Hold on, give me a second.
Give Nestor a second.
Oh, because I got to turn the volume up.
And show up and do the work.
Okay. Nestor, are we good? You tell me when we're good. Oh yeah, okay, here we go.
Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
You have to surround
Yeah.
yourself with people that want to work. Have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do because you have one life. No toxic work environments, and show up and do the work.
Show up and do the work. Now, the comments blew my mind. Absolutely blew my. When I heard what she said, I was like, hell yeah. I was like, speak on it, Kim. And then I realized what the caption said, and it was that she's getting dragged for this because, of course, folks are focusing on the fact that she comes from a privileged background. And, you know, she already had a leg up on the quote-unquote competition, and she had resources and whatever. And, of course, people want to comment on the sex tape. And at the end of the day, I'm like, you're missing the message. And I feel like people are missing the message intentionally because much like what our friend Brittany Brave said was that oftentimes, you know, people want to cancel or censor things that they hear because it's a mirror reflecting some sort of, you know, disapproval in themselves or something that they haven't quite come to terms with. And that's what I really think about this conversation, because forget what her previous or how, you know, how she started. She's a billionaire at this point, right? And if you watch the show, they're all constantly working. Photo shoots, they run multiple brands. Like, that doesn't come easy, Len. Speak on it. You run multiple brands. I mean,
Yeah, no, I've never watched the show, but
you have. Don't lie. I'm just kidding.
I'm not lying. But it's true. Yeah, I know you don't get to that level without putting in the hours. I don't care how much of a leg up you have. I mean, you know, it's some people have inherited $1 billion and turned it into $1 billion empire. But they still were working their way to it.
Yeah.
You know, it still needs to be maintained, and it's a level of work that people typically don't understand and find it difficult to realize.
But again, for a person who comes from a quote unquote privileged background, right? For her to be able to see that or to say that people don't want to work, like, she clearly has experience with this. And I understand. I think in some regards, we've seen it on comments, I want to say, on some of our other topics. Like, you know, because I don't want to say that you're not a tough employer, but you do have expectations. You know, we've talked repeatedly about, you know, if you want to come in and set a price for yourself, you're going to have to earn that, in my eyes, right? I'm not just going to take your word for it. But it's funny to me because I'm looking at her as a businesswoman, and the fact that I even have to be on the ManTFup podcast defending a Kardashian is so beyond me, because I have for a very long time been the first one to drag them. You know what I mean? But as business people at this point, we have to get over the whole, oh, what are they? They're famous for being famous. No, at this point, they're billionaires, right? That has nothing to do with their E-News contract. That we're talking about brands that they've developed and sold for hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they've done this on numerous occasions. Like, she literally has 2 companies that are worth at least $500 million a piece each.
Yeah, but I mean, they did start with building themselves as a brand.
100%.
Which, you know,
brilliant.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. It takes a lot of work. And now, yes, for them to launch a brand and make it successful is easier. But it's still, they're still working 50, 60 hours a week. I guarantee you, if she's sitting in Paris having dinner,
it's still
out,
work.
Her phone is still in her hand, and it still rings with some stupid-ass question about some stupid-ass shit that somebody should be able to fix at home.
And not only that,
that's what being the boss is.
In order to have a truly successful business, you can't just take your hands off of it. Any Fortune 500 CEO will tell you that. Like, you've got to be hands-on. We were talking about it when it comes to, you know, the restaurant industry, right? Like, if you don't want to be in your restaurant every single night, don't open a restaurant.
Yep.
Right? Or at least have a partner somebody that is in upper management and ownership needs to be there with their eyes.
Somebody has to
on
care.
Everything, because otherwise, when the cat's away, the mice will play, right? That just is what it is.
That's absolute. And I would expect in her realm, there's a lot of people that are probably, you know, looking to get a leg up based on working with her and, you know, that kind of thing. And it's, you know, it's not everybody always has the right intentions when it comes to that. So it's difficult, and it's hard work. All of it is hard work, and that's a big problem today.
Well, and that's, I think, what had me so fired up when I saw this, because whether you're, you know, we all make choices, and you and I have discussed at length the respect we have for the folks that get up every day at 4 a.m. and go and lay roof tile in South Florida in the summer, right? It's a job that is not for me, and I know that. But I have literally, when I drive by them on the you know, like, you'll be on the highway and look up and see people roofing, and I'm just like, yo, y'all are the real MVPs. The trash collectors, right? Again, in 100-degree heat or in 20 below zero weather. Like, there are people out there that have incredibly hard manual jobs, but you cannot detract from the lawyer that is putting in the junior partner that's proving his worth or her worth, that's putting in 200 hours a week and doesn't take a vacation for the first 7 years of their career, right? And is probably on the verge of throwing themselves in front of a train numerous nights when they leave the office, right? Like, it's damaging relationships because they work so much. You cannot take away from the entrepreneur that maybe isn't, you know, breaking down a wall every day, but again, to your point, is trying to balance a budget and pay employees.
Those people that are dragging her are the same people that are sitting at home unemployed.
There's my
because they feel they're more valuable than working at Walmart, or more valuable than working at McDonald's, or more valuable than any of these jobs that are available to people But nah, I'd rather sit at home and wallow in my sorrow instead of actually trying to make an effort. You know, they've been running this commercial on TV for Domino's.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Is it the one where you could be an owner?
Yeah.
Too?
The girl's 27 or 29 years old.
I love that
She's
commercial.
like, I started here when I was 17.
Delivering.
Now I own 2 stores.
Yep.
You know, that's what it takes. So, yeah, you might not be a Kardashian, but you might not have that leg up, but you could damn sure get a job at Domino's.
Yeah.
And that girl in 12 years owns 2 Domino's because she went to work
100%.
and made an effort.
Mm-hmm.
And people see that.
Mm-hmm.
People see that. The effort you put out is what you get back.
Well, and to your point about not being a Kardashian or not coming from a privileged background, look at how many people have lost their family's fortunes, right? Like you've had people who have built these incredible dynastic families, right? Like dynasties.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you start to get 2 or 3 generations removed from the last person that actually worked the family business, it's amazing how quickly they squander those fortunes away. And these women have not done that. And their mother is here managing them. And I say all of that to say, just because you have a lawyer dad, right? And clearly, you know, I don't know about the mother's family as much. I know she's from Pasadena. You can't be broke and be from Pasadena. But at the end of the day, they've taken this and built generational wealth. And not just once, they've all done it. This is a family where literally the one at the bottom of the totem pole is worth $15 million. Rob. The brother with his sock line. You know what I'm saying? And then it progressively increases 25 mil, 50 mil, 100 mil. Then you've got 700 million, over $1 billion. Like, you don't just get there by sitting on your ass and taking selfies, despite what a lot of people would think. And for somebody who's in entertainment, you know, I will never say that I have a quote unquote hard job, but I work damn hard. I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm, you know, at the radio station prepping for my show. I don't leave. My show is off the air. They're like, oh, well, you're on the air from 6 to 10. And I'm like, ask me what time I leave the radio station after doing post-production, meeting with sales, helping with promotions, prepping for tomorrow.
Yeah, recording all those commercials.
Recording all those commercials, yes, that I get paid for. Yeah.
Whatever. It's
But
still work.
But
it's
then,
work.
And then what happens? Then you have an event later that night, or I do another show with the Miami Dolphins, and I come to the ManTFup office. So it's like, I got home last night at 11:30, 12 o'clock, and was up at 3. So you never know what people
You
are
went to
doing.
a play last night.
Yeah, but that's work.
Was it good?
That's work. It was incredible. It was Frozen. So yes, the inner Elsa in me loved it. Right, let it go. No, but it was very Disney magical. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's something only
I think
Disney.
I'm going to take Miranda.
You should. No, she would, just from a production value, and I think you'd appreciate it too. The set design, the lights, all
I
of
happen
that
to like
stuff.
plays.
No, I know you do. You're a cultured dude.
Yeah.
You are. You love music. You love comedy shows. You like to go to concerts. You are.
Yeah,
You're a little rough around the edges, like literally right now. Have you shaved recently?
No, my new shaver has a stubble setting, so that's what I use.
Oh, you like the stubbly look. Okay.
that's what I use.
That's intentional stubble.
That's intentional
ladies
stubble.
and gentlemen.
I'm well groomed.
I love it.
I did it last night.
But that's work. That's work.
Yes.
That was literally the people from Broadway across America
My
invited me.
friends are like, you don't fucking work. I'm like, okay.
Well-
Spend one day.
Yeah.
Spend one day in my shoes.
Well, even when we go out and we shoot,
You're going to kill
Supercar-
yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're going to pop a cap. Because I get there too. I sometimes think about, well, you know, I could just go fucking swing a hammer and la-di-da and not deal with any of this stress.
the irony, because you've done. I want somebody to understand this though. Like if you're listening right now to the ManTFup podcast, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Lenny. Sorry, Nestor.
Yes, you did.
No, because you're saying I could go swing a hammer. You're a general contractor.
Yeah.
You built homes, you build things.
Yeah.
And what you do right now is more mentally exhausting.
100 times.
Do you know what I'm so that's just the point I think I was trying to make, is that you can't judge or compare, you know, apples and oranges and say, oh, well, because, you know, you own a clothing company or a makeup brand, that's easy work. Owning and running any company is
I left the house 6 o'clock this morning. I met the guys at a job I'm doing. went over the job with them, sent them for materials, came here, started working. Nestor showed up. I've had 4 meetings today. I drove from here to 75 in Griffin and back, and now I'm doing the podcast. And then I'm gonna go to dinner at 7 o'clock. I'm not gonna get home till 11 o'clock tonight, and I left at 6 in the morning.
Preach, brother. Give me a little of that. I feel you. But no, I think also as a boss, right? People always envy the boss. Oh, and I don't want to call the worker people minions. Like, it's not that, because I'm a minion. I have lots and lots of bosses. But, everybody always thinks they could do it better, or they would do it better, or, oh, they have it so easy. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to be a boss and all the facets? You gave us a rundown of your day. I just want people to understand.
Yeah, it's very difficult for people to understand who work, because everybody who's working always says, oh, you got this, and you got that, and you got this. Yeah, you know what else I got? The headaches. You know what else I got? The responsibility of making sure you can feed your family. And that responsibility falls on me before I feed my family.
Yep.
And they don't understand that. I told you I owned a body shop for a year. It was the worst year of my life, because all I did was work for my employees. That's all I did. Every dime I made went to pay my employees' salary on Friday. And there wasn't much left for me.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that. I had a little bit of that today with one of my guys, like, yes, boss man. I'm like, listen, motherfucker, you're the boss man, because I'm the one who's paying you. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I can keep you living.
Mm-hmm. But you know what's so crazy? Somebody will see this and will Kim Kardashian you. And by that, I mean somebody will...
Bring it, motherfucker.
But you know what I'm saying? Somebody will hear you say that and be like, oh, boo-hoo. I'm paying you. We're out here doing X, Y, Z. And it's like, just shut up and think about what you're saying for a minute and what the other person is saying. Kim is clearly a boss, right? And all she's talking about, as somebody who runs multiple multi-million-dollar companies, is what I'm seeing right now is that people don't want to work. And as a boss, it's like, if I'm the guy whose name is on the outside of the building, I have a right to have expectations for the folks that I hire, especially if behind my back, you're going to talk about how you could do all the things that I do better, faster, with happier employees. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what she was trying to convey. It's not oh, you guys need to be like me in order to have what I have. She was making an observation that many, many, many managers have made recently. I know I've made it, and I'm a worker bee. You know what I mean? Just because I have a different work ethic from coming from a family business background, seeing my mother bust her ass day in and day. She didn't do manual labor. She wasn't in service, but she worked for my family from the time the sun came up till the...
Today's youth is always all about this whole, positivity and projecting where you want to go, and if you think it will happen.
Yeah. Not without the work.
Well, that's true. But going to your job, no matter what it is, no matter how menial you feel it is, no matter how much it sucks, going to your job and giving it 110% is the same as you manifesting your destiny and doing that.
Yeah.
Because that's what people see. They see that energy. And if you go to your job and you're like, here, thank you, you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
You get off work and you're looking at Instagram and you're going, oh yeah, if I have these positive thoughts. Dumbass, you need to carry those positive thoughts through everything you do.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like doing it, you have to be positive about it. And that, I think, is a big part of, these people not getting...
Well, it's intention. Like you're saying, this is a stepping stone. I may not like where I'm at right now, but it's getting me one step closer to all those things I see in my head. It's why it's important to see it, to speak it, and then to go out and get that shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's a step after speaking it into existence, and it's called going and getting it.
Yeah.
Like, the universe doesn't just drop it in your lap. Like, and I don't mean that. And I'm a person who was raised on manifestation. I'm a person who was raised by my grandmother on visualization. I am all about The Secret. But if you pay attention to what's said, even from the Tony Robbins of the world, from the Grant Cardones, from all of these guys, it's about the action and the intention that comes after the seeing, the believing, the speaking, right?
Luck is a real thing. Okay, luck is a
Yeah.
real thing. But you have to put yourself in a position to get lucky.
Yep.
It's
I love
just that simple. It's that simple. There's no rocket science here. And you might never be a boss or you might never be a business owner, but if you work your hardest at the job you're doing, because everybody can't be the boss. That goes without saying. But if you work hard at the job you're doing, you're going to climb to a level where you're comfortable.
But not only that, you're literally, I hate to bring it back to Kim, but like that's what started this. If you think about it, they had a situation, right? Like wealthy dad, they had some good connections. They then did what? They parlayed that into a clothing store. She became basically a closet designer. She was a personal assistant to famous people, right? Then there's a sex tape. She gets a reality show. Like what you're talking about is if you make the most of every opportunity that drops in your lap, fast forward 20 years. That's how long they've been around. Look at where they're at.
As a business owner, every place I go and every person I meet and every business that I go into, Starbucks, restaurants, whatever, when I meet the people that are working there, if they're nice and friendly and supportive, what am I doing as a business owner? I'm going, wow, she'd be great working for us. Hey, you want to leave Starbucks behind and come work at our company? That's what these people don't understand. So you're a barista now. The CEO of Amazon might walk into that Starbucks and you might be so nice to them and do your job so well that they go, hey, I need you to come be my personal assistant. Whatever. That's what making your luck is.
Well, yeah, and it's not hanging out on Instagram and then literally bitching about other people that have made it to where you want to be at. I think that was just my biggest frustration because I saw this, and then to your point, I went to a gas station in the area and the service was horrible. When I tell you horrible, like I put my card in twice, it got approved, and then when I went to go pump the gas, it just hit 0-0. Thank you for shopping. And I'm like, thank you for shopping. I didn't buy shit. Like I didn't even get to pump any gas. And so then I went inside and they're like, it's been doing that. Well, do you have a resolution? Like, I need gas and I want a freaking car wash. Hello? And they're just like standing behind the plexiglass like, meh. And I'm like, well, does the pump work? Do we at least know that much? If I pay you in here, can I go get gas?
Listen, we've talked about Pierre, the guy who works at the gas station down here. We bring him Thanksgiving dinner every year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, for like 11 years, this gas station right down here on the corner, mobile.
You're talking about the one right under the overpass?
No,
okay.
Going west.
Oh, okay.
Going west.
Sorry, podcast family, you have no idea what we're talking about.
Yes, going west. There's a mobile station. I've lived in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So this guy, Haitian guy, probably a little bit younger than me, super nice guy. He's that guy that, you always want to have somebody know you. He's always been that guy. So for 11 years, my daughter and I have brought him because he works every Thanksgiving. Every year we brought him Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, even this year, from Davie, I drove all the way over here to bring him Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving Day. And that's because he's nice and he does his job and he looks out for people and he's friendly. Not to mention the last hurricane we had, he called me when the truck got there. But that's the kind of neighborhood type of person you want. That guy, is an exemplary. Well, I don't know if I pronounce that right. How do you pronounce that? Exemplary.
Yeah.
Example of what an employee should be.
Yeah.
He cares about his job. He's happy to come to work. He's happy to make money. And people see that. And everyone in the neighborhood knows him and takes care of him.
But what's sad is that employees don't realize the impact that they can have on the bottom line, good and bad. Like that lady, clearly both of them didn't realize like how often I have frequented that particular gas station and how frustrated I was, because then I tried to go through the car wash and some guy had thought a part of his car fell off inside. So he's like, give me a second. But of course, the second he took to walk through after the other car wash finished, I had already punched my code in. So now I get in there and the car wash won't start. So now not only do I have to go in and out to get my gas, now I got to go back around and get a new code for my car wash. And I walked in and I'm like, listen, this is what happened. She didn't offer me another car. I didn't get a car wash. I'd already paid the $9 for the car wash. She just looked at me and I'm like, can I get another car wash? Like I felt so bad, but I'm like, I don't have to feel bad because right now I'm never going back there again. Mm-hmm. So it's a $9 car wash that you're gonna lose. Right now with gas prices being what they are, that's an $80, $100 fill up that you're not gonna get. All because I gave you multiple chances to super serve me as a client and you blew them all. Why? Because you probably don't like what you're doing and you don't want to be there. Back to what Kim said. Like, you got to want to fucking work.
Listen, I've been going to this building in Fort Lauderdale and it's the bougiest building on Las Olas. Mm-hmm. I get there. I've been going there around 6:30 in the evening. I go in. This is the security guard looking at her phone. Walk in. Now, mind you, she has to punch in the elevator number for you to go upstairs.
Yep.
Looking at her phone. Hi, how are you? Great. We're going to 14? Okay.
Never even
looked up.
You could have literally been standing with a ski mask on.
Never even looked up. It drives me insane. But it's like, you don't want to work? Don't work, please. Because the people that want to work will take those jobs and Americans have a big problem with this because they're, they feel like foreigners are taking their jobs, but no, they just want to work.
But yeah, I mean, you're saying so many things that
but it all goes to the same thing. People don't want to work. We have trouble finding people here. Mm-hmm. I want people to work. They come, kids come in and they're like, yeah, I want $25 an hour. Yeah. Listen, you fucking 12-year-old, you're not worth 10 fucking cents. What can you do for $25 an hour? Mm-hmm. And it's true. It's that you get a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's the overvaluing of.
Well, I also think because people don't understand how business works. Like when I watch this video and the passion with which she's saying this, mm-hmm. This is coming from somebody who owns something, right? And understands that every piece makes a difference, from customer service to the people in the stockhouse to the people who are helping her with her creative to the scientists that are making her product. Everybody plays a role. And like you said, you also have the pressure of providing for all of these people, right? So with that being said, when you understand all of those nuances and you're looking at the kid who wants $25 an hour and you're thinking about, okay, well, if I pay him $25 an hour, then how am I going to pay my guy who I know that puts in 100 hours a week and is super committed to this, this mm-hmm. business and this company and this vision? Like, I just think we don't take the time. I don't know if that's all. It may have always been a thing. I don't know how,
Well, you've always had disgruntled employees. That goes without saying.
But so many people want the entrepreneurial route in 2022 without understanding what it really we talk about this all the time.
Everybody does.
This is a country that has moved away from blue collar manual labor. Understand that on the flip side of that, because I guess when I'm looking at the comments, Lenny, what I'm seeing is folks with the comments like, somebody with nannies and chefs and da-da-da-da-da, what does she know about working? And it's like, just because why do you have those things? You have those things, A, because you work, but also because you need them because you're working all the time, right? You have 4 kids. Somebody's got to take care of them. Why? Because you're working. You're running 2 major businesses.
I walked out of here today at 12:05 to go to that meeting at 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Nestor's like, you need a personal assistant, dude. I'm like, yeah, I do. But try and find one. Mm-hmm. Try and find one that's semi-competent. I mean, I've hired 3 people and had someone I know try to take my password lists mm-hmm. out of my folder. I have a folder with all my handwritten stuff. I've had 4 different people try to put that into a list for me, so I have it online. So I have one list. Still, to this day, I do not have every password and every login that's on those sheets on a list on the computer. 4 people couldn't fucking do it. And it's like, it's that you don't care, you're not competent. What is it? It's very difficult. And I would pay someone very well to be my personal assistant if they could function at a high level.
ManTFup fam, did you hear that? It's on record. It's on the podcast. Yeah. It's on YouTube. He would pay somebody very well to be his personal assistant, but he does have a very high bar.
Yes. No, absolutely.
But executive assistants will tell you that. Like, there's a difference. Like, listen, you can have like that executive level when you're working for a boss, when you're working for a CEO.
It's 24/7.
Yes.
You're answering your phone. If I forget something,
I couldn't do it.
I'm going to call you and I'm going to say, what happened to that? And you're going to have to spit it out quick. Mm-hmm. And it's just, that's the level. But, to kind of give the whole world an example of what you just mentioned about everyone playing an integral part of a business. So just look at this business as the globe and the global economy, because everyone is now familiar with the supply chain.
Yeah.
Everyone is familiar with it. So you have one company that shuts down in China that makes one microchip, right? That one microchip has now shut down the automotive industry around the world. So when you have a business, it's the same thing. We had an employee at the pharmacy. Well, I have 6 people that work there. I had 6 people that worked there. And there was constant inefficiencies. We got rid of one of them, and it is now
well-oiled machine.
Now it's running like clockwork.
Wow.
So, it might not be the people. It's everyone has to come to the table with something. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, I'm all about it. Okay? But you're not going to be an entrepreneur without working. And you're not going to learn how to be an entrepreneur without working.
And you're not going to reach boss status bitching about the boss. Understand that too.
You got that right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what this whole kind of conversation feels like it's about. I take it back to the beginning when we first started talking. What bothered me was the immediate conversations of people questioning or trying to negate the work that these people have put into building their brands, to building these businesses. And it just feels like, we've mentioned so many times on this podcast, people don't like to hear the truth, right? Like, people don't like to take the criticism. And we say things like, folks don't want to work right now. They're not willing to put in the effort. I know this is going to sound antiquated and somebody's going to call me a boomer, but it's like, when I was coming up, it goes to the I told you I had a friend who got dragged, Lenny, for talking about internships and saying how basically she had paid her dues. She had multiple internships where she didn't get paid. And people were like, it's 2022. You should want things to be better. Blah, 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 with that, old ass way of thinking. And people need to pay their dues. No, people need to eat. And people need to be able to put gas in their car. And I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, like the sense of entitlement is so wild to me. Now, I'm not mad about people wanting to be compensated. But sometimes you have to look at it and go, like, when I got to the radio station, Lenny, I didn't know shit about radio. I didn't major in broadcasting. What do I look like telling them to pay me to teach me? That's like you walking onto a college campus, right, as a non-scholarship student and saying, you need to pay me to learn.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you want to get compensated for a job that you're going for, do a little research. Bring 10 examples of people that are making what you're asking for with your skill level for that same job. Just show me. Show me 2 other people that are making that money with your skill level for that job. I mean, if it's founded, fine. If you can show me why you're worth that amount of money, you might get it. But if you can't show me and you just want it because you can't afford to live without it, that's not my problem. That's your problem. Work 2 jobs. You need $800 a week,
are you ready?
And I'm only paying $4, you better find another $400 a week job.
But now the way of thinking, because I've literally seen them make comments on our ManTFup TV TikTok that are like, tell me you're old without saying I'm old. When you say things like that, or when I say things like that, because in their minds, one job should be enough. You know, this generation is bucking the system. We're not going to let you work us to the bone and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's not how the world works.
Hey, I'll go one step
Sorry, I didn't
further.
mean to yell, but
I'll go
fine.
one step further. My parents' generation fucked it up. My generation fucked it up worse, okay? Because inflation versus income. I mean, in 1985, I was bringing home $500-$600 a week. You know how much fucking money that was then? In 1985? That was mad fucking money. What's $500 today? You can't live. You cannot live on $500 a week today. So, yeah, the generations have fucked it up. Now you got to deal with it. You're not going to get anywhere by fucking whining about what other people have or what other people want to do or what they're telling you. The only way you're getting out of this hole is fucking hard work. It's the only way.
That's such a mic drop moment, but as you're saying it, it's like I now think about how people are going to like react on TikTok when we say things, just because it blows my mind when I see a lot of the responses. And it's like, I understand that a job should pay, because they make comments like, you know, you bought a house for $20,000 and, you know, whatever, and put a kid through. And it's like, yes, but I mean, that's just evolution. That's inflation. That's life. You also made $75 a week. Like, you know what I mean? When you talk about what people made back in the day, like, you know what I mean? A lot of it is a relative. Now, I mean, we're not talking about what the current state of real estate and we're dealing with a lot of moving pieces here. And I understand that part of the argument, but there's still a process of working your way up. Like, we're seeing it now. People want kids with master's degrees. Like, if you've got a master's, like an MBA right now, you can basically, I don't want to say write your ticket, but like, you're coming out asking $150, 150 grand minimum, right? But like, when I think about things like that in Miami, that's like a livable wage, right? Like,
it's tough.
I hate to say that, but like,
you know, I've talked to people. Hey, I can't afford to live. Well, why don't you get a 2-bedroom apartment and get a roommate? No, I want to live alone. Well, you know, there's not two sides to that coin. You know, the cost of living is this expensive, but
okay. So what is the answer though for the people that are going to look at you and go, but that's not right, and it should be. I shouldn't have to get a roommate if, you know, I'm working a full-time job, because this is again what we're up against.
There is no answer. There is no answer. Okay, the bottom line is, this is the card you were dealt. Man the fuck up, and play your hand. It's that fucking simple. You have to make the effort to change your life. Okay, I'm sorry that
or be content.
Yes, or
with
be content
where you're at.
Yes.
So if you don't want to work over 40 hours a week, and you're being paid what is considered fair rate for what you're doing, and that is not providing you with trips to Tulum, you know what I mean, and dinners on Las Olas, then now you need to do a little self-reflection and go, can I live the rest of my life without trips to Tulum and dinners on Las Olas, but be happy that I only work 40 hours a week and I punch in and I punch out, right? Because other than that, the rest of us know I made $25,000 a year for the first 10 years of my radio career on paper. I hustled my way into 3 times that with endorsements, working remote. The sales team knew they could come to me, they could depend on me, they could take me on a sales call, and I would help them close a deal. They knew that I didn't say no, and somebody didn't say, oh, well, they were using you, they were getting over, that's your fault. Literally, that's what somebody's going to say. I guarantee you, go ahead and say it. Put it in the comments at ManTFup TV. I wouldn't change a thing about that, because that's how I am. That's the kind of work ethic I have. And guess what? It is always paid off, people. I talk for a living and I make very good fucking money. But going to a concert is something I consider work at this point in my life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when you said, oh, you were at the theater last night, I was like, yes, I was. And I enjoyed it, but it was work. I was working. I went back on the air today and I talked about it. And I told people and I answered my DMs about it, right? It's all a part of what I do. But I'm living a life that I love.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's, you know, and again, if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to understand that every waking moment, you need to be thinking about your business. You need to be thinking about what you want to do, and you need to be looking at everything around you as an opportunity to help you get that business going. And a lot of these people don't. They look at, oh, this is it. And they overlook the barista that's super nice and, just finished college and, is looking to better her career.
And PS has a 401k.
Yeah.
Starbucks has a nice little benefits package.
I get that, but you know what I'm saying. McDonald's, it doesn't matter where. If those people carry their,
But again,
it's all about changing.
But again, we talk about the folks who say working at McDonald's is beneath them, right? Yet, if you work hard at McDonald's, you can end up owning a McDonald's or 2 or 12. Talk to the folks who own them. They have tons of owner-operators who started like the girl from Domino's that you mentioned. So stop thinking that you're above things that can turn you into the boss that you want to be and that you're bitching that you're not and that you're literally hating on other people for achieving.
Yep.
Because it takes hard work. And sometimes, you know what you have to do, Len? You have to humble yourself. And so as I'm scrolling through these comments, I see absolutely no humility here. I see a bunch of haters. This is a girl who had her punani out on for the world to see, right? And she's turned that into a billion-dollar industry. I'm not saying that's the route to go, but there's some humbling that has to come with that.
It's worked for a lot of them.
I mean, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, I grinded, and I still grind. I still put in 100-hour weeks, but I love what I do, right? And I reap the benefits of that. But like, I guess that's, again, when there's hurricanes, I'm on the air. I don't get to leave town and come back a week later. When we did work from home, not me. It doesn't matter what gas prices are. I'm driving my happy ass to the radio station. So, those are the things that I think sometimes people don't see. I'm sure they look at my job and they think, oh my God, you go to concerts and you meet celebrities and you talk on the radio and you do this podcast. And are you kidding me? That's not work. Bitch.
Yeah. I know.
Like you said.
I get it.
Day in my shoes.
I get it. Yeah. And people can't do it.
I guarantee you they tap out Lenny when that alarm goes off at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's crazy. People don't. It's just it's
Len's processing.
Crazy.
But,
I am.
yeah.
It's just the concept that people have of what you do and what they're worth is just two totally different. It's so far apart that it's not even.
Well,
fun.
even as we're sitting here doing this, and I'm looking at Nestor, who I know has already put in. Nestor's, by the way, like our director, our producer, our photographer, all of those things.
Nestor does everything.
But he's literally already put in, like you said, 60 hours. We're gonna do this hour-long podcast, but nobody sees the 6 additional hours it takes to render the footage, to edit it, to make sure the audio matches up, to then upload it, to write the description, to make sure it's distributed properly. Nobody sees the hours that Angelique, who's your assistant in Tampa, puts into taking the clips, getting them up on TikTok. Nobody sees the money that goes into making sure you have the right team around you that's going to put everything. And all of this is really to benefit the bigger picture, which is your other brand. You know what I mean?
They see it's 1 hour. Look, yep. He's having fun for an hour. Yeah. He's not stressing over all the other stuff that has to come together.
Yep.
And no, I'm not, but it's because I've learned, if you want to be lucky to have these things in your life, you need to work to put yourself in a position to get lucky. Mm-hmm. It's that simple.
I absolutely love that. Luck is a thing, but you've got to work hard to put yourself in the right position to seize those opportunities. Those lucky moments that come your way.
People will notice.
For 1,000%.
People will notice. And that's what, listen, I always had opportunities come my way because people recognized that I was willing to make the effort to make it happen.
Yeah.
So, did I work at McDonald's to save up enough money to open my first business? No. I showed someone I had the work ethic to make that business work, and they said, here you go.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little help. And that's what happens.
But that also goes back to other conversations that we've had about people skills and learning how to sell yourself in this. And I don't mean it that way.
It's not even about the sell. It's about people just recognizing, because I've had opportunities given to me by people that I didn't even have to say anything to, that weren't even on my radar.
Yeah, but look, that's how I got my opportunity.
Yeah,
I wasn't on your radar.
No, that's
somebody vouched for me.
It's hard work that that pays off. It always pays off in the end.
Yeah. And again, this is not an attempt to drag anybody that's good, like we said, with a life that is 40 hours, being a worker bee, and being content with a happy work-life balance, whatever that looks like for you. This is more directed at the people who want to bitch and point fingers and try to demean other people's accomplishments, or want to be miserable that they don't have all the things that they envy, that they see others with, yet don't understand. Like, when you own a business, it's never 40 hours. Like, that's not how that works. When you see somebody enjoying a week-long trip or a month-long vacation in the Mediterranean, understand the amount of 120 plus hour weeks that led up to them being comfortable enough, not just financially, but like with the team that they have around them, to even take that kind of time off.
My friend had a vacation booked, had a week off already in his books. You know, this is a guy who schedules himself 6 months out. Okay. Had it booked. The vacation got canceled. Do you know what he did? He fucking worked.
Yeah.
He didn't sit at his house and go, oh, God, I got a week off.
Yeah, I'm just going to watch Netflix.
Yeah, nobody knows. No, he couldn't do it.
You maximize the time because you know that time is money. You get that. And also, when you own businesses, if you have a vision, that vision is constantly evolving, right? It's always growing. You reach a milestone, and then the next thing you do, you raise the bar and you set the next milestone you want to get to. That's how people succeed. So you don't ever get somewhere and rest on your laurels. When you do that, that is when your business dies.
Listen, I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, oh, you know, if I had this, I could do this. And you know what I've said? Here you go. Here it is. Show me. Oh, well, you know, I need this too. Oh, well, here it is. Show me. And people don't realize it's not that you don't have what you need. It's that you're scared to fail and you're not willing to put in the effort. It's those two things. You need nothing else.
Yeah.
Anyone in this country, and this is a great country, and that's why people want to come here, and that's why people want to live here. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you don't have 2 cents to your fucking name. If you're willing to put in the effort and you're not scared of failing, you will succeed.
Amen. To that point, because that was incredible, I will acknowledge the fact that we don't all start off on a level playing field, right?
There's no such thing.
But with that being said, the folks who come from way in the back are the ones who don't give a fuck where they started. They're the ones that don't let that keep them back. They're the ones that aren't on Instagram complaining about somebody who did start with privilege, accomplishing things and saying folks don't want to work. They're the ones going, you're goddamn right, but guess what? I do.
Listen.
And I will, right? Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When we talk about athletes who make it, or when we talk about anybody who starts at a disadvantage.
Oh, that football player is getting $20 million for his first contract. Yeah, motherfucker. Because he's been working 10 hours a day since he was 2.
Facts.
You know?
Facts.
It's like he had no childhood. He sacrificed his childhood to become an athlete. That's all it boils down to.
But imagine if you had said, I'm only giving you 2 hours of practice a day, coach. That's it, because I need work-life balance.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at. Imagine at this point an elite-level athlete going, you know what, coach? I'm going to take tomorrow off.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to take the rest of the season off?
Yeah. In fact, transfer schools now because we won't be extending your scholarship. No. Do you know what I mean? But this is where that's the mentality. But those are the people who will overcome. The people that have that do or die, my future rests solely in my hands mentality, can make the most miraculous things happen.
Those people who drag people on social media. If you, and I know you guys spend 4 to 5 hours a day on social media, because if you're that ingrained in Kim Kardashian's bullshit, then you fucking live on that
I
shit.
get paid to be that.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Stop typing and turn the camera around and take some fucking booty shots and make some fucking money yourself.
Facts. That's your startup money, baby.
There you go.
If if you were really serious, they would though.
It's
They'd
the
be like, no,
truth.
you would.
It's the truth.
Because
Make an OnlyFans page with your fucking feet, your fingers,
there you
anything.
go. Because being hung up on what you don't have or what you didn't have to start out with or what somebody else had that you didn't have access to is a fucking excuse.
Yeah.
Period. Because I'm not saying it doesn't exist, and I'm not saying that we need to work towards parity and equality, but to your point, Lenny, there is always, it doesn't matter what country you're in, it doesn't matter what period of time you are talking about. I guarantee you there were disparities with the cavemen and women. Somebody lived
Absolutely.
closer to a river and could fish better. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Somebody made fire and changed
Yes.
the game.
Yeah.
You feel me? So at the end
How
of
am I
the
going
day,
to cook this?
right? Like you figure it out though, right? You figure it out. So with that being said, I think that that's an incredible way to kind of wrap things up. Len, you've been on so spot on today, but for real, stop focusing on what you don't have or what they had access to that you didn't, and start focusing on what you're capable of when you put your mind to something and move forward. Find people that started off where you are at, because trust me, you're not the only one walking in your shoes.
Nope.
And I guarantee you can find somebody that did something incredible and amazing and achieved greatness that started off exactly where you were at.
Yep.
Focus on them. Don't focus on Kim. Don't focus on a Kardashian or somebody you see on Instagram. Focus on the person that has your experience and has made the most of it, because that's what's going to inspire you to change your life and to go get the shit that you want to get.
Absolutely. Hallelujah, Kimmy.
Hey. Okay. Anyway, listen. That's this episode of the ManTFup podcast. I think it went pretty well. I'm not saying what I said last week though, Len. Not doing it. I can't stand you. Listen, please like, follow, subscribe, and share. Again, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We're on every podcast streaming platform. Pandora, Spotify, Google, Amazon, I don't know, what else?
YouTube, all of it. We're all over the place.
Yeah, we're absolutely everywhere at ManTFup TV. And go ahead, Len, close out with how you love to close out.
Listen, clearly you heard she's in her feelings because she hasn't gotten emails from you guys. So it's Kimmy B at ManTFUpTV.com. Please email her. Listen to last week's episode. I'm sure you'll have plenty of comments for her.
And comment, Len, to your point.
Yes.
Comment, because we clearly, Lenny and I both, read the comments, especially on TikTok and now on Instagram. Yes. We would love to feature you. We would love to mention your comment. I'm sure it'll probably, spur a whole other conversation. But yeah, you will have many, many comments for last week's conversation. I hate you, Lenny. I really do. ManTFup TV, we're out.
Peace.